Well, you think you're mad right now. Wait until you meet my next guest, because if you thought you could bully him, you have another thing coming. He is part of that Republican majority. He have voted against the initial Sandy relief bill, said it was filled with pork. And he says if another bill comes up there equally filled with pork, he'll do it all over again. He's pushing amendments to make sure that doesn't happen. His name is Tom McClintock, the fine Republican congressman from the great state of California. Congressman, good to have you back. You're willing to, get in Chris Christie's face. Why?
Well, look, this is not a small amount of money. You're talking about $50 billion. That comes to about $450 from every household in the country. So that's what your family has at stake, $450. I think we're entitled to ask, is this all going to necessary emergency storm relief? And you begin to look at what's in the bill before the House. There's $2 billion there for highway repairs anywhere in the country, including up to $20 million each for Guam, American Samoa, the Marianas Islands. They're not even in the same ocean as Hurricane Sandy. There's $16 billion to quintuple the amount that we're spending on the Community Development Block Grant Program. That's that slush fund that's paid for such essential programs as a doggy daycare center in Ohio and Day at the Circus in Nyack, New York. They've got $111 million in that bill for weather satellites. Now, explain to me how a weather satellite can be damaged by a hurricane. We may need more weather satellites or data or better satellites, but that's not storm relief. That's something that needs to go in the normal appropriations process. Of that $50 billion in the bill pending before the House, only about $4 billion even is expected to be spent this year. So more than 90% of that isn't expected to be spent until next year at the earliest. That part needs to go into the normal appropriations process where it can follow the normal scrutiny that is supposed to be given to spending bills of this magnitude.
Well, you talk about spending bills of this magnitude. The argument has always been, Congressman, we know this is the way things happen in Washington. They add on and they throw in a lot of goodies, but just get with the program and get the money to us. What do you say to that?
Well, to politicians like Chris Christie, who I'm sure believe they're doing right by their constituents by larding up an emergency relief bill with billions of dollars of pork. I'm sure they think they're doing the right thing for their constituents. But what they're really doing is undermining the support for the legitimate emergency relief that should be going to their constituents.
It might not be him larding the bill up. I mean, he might ask for things that go beyond what he really needs storm-related. But couldn't it be many of your colleagues, Democrat and Republican, who are adding some gifts to this in order to get it passed and in order to get their vote?
Well, again, I don't want to cast aspersions, but I think that by larding up this bill the way they have, I think they've undermined support for the legitimate relief that's in there. And again, those are the amendments that I and other of my colleagues will be offering to pare it back to what is actually emergency relief for the storm victims and not doing highway building in Guam.
Well, it makes a good deal of sense. You can sound, heartless and all of that, but you're just trying to make sure the money gets to the right people. But of course, you're going to hear from Chris Christie, by the way. But we'll see.
By the way, Neil, you talk about heartless. In disasters like this, there are always shady individuals who go around door to door trying to shake people down for money in a disaster. I mean, are some of these politicians really doing anything different?
We will see. Congressman, thank you very, very much.